God is about to reveal why you had to wait so long. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now, because what I'm about to share with you isn't just another message you'll scroll past and forget. This is for the person who's been waiting so long that the waiting itself has become a second skin, a familiar ache you carry into every morning, every silent night, every moment when you wonder if God even remembers your name. If you've ever felt like your life is on pause while everyone else's is on play, if you've watched others receive the very things you've been praying for, if you've whispered into the dark, asking why your breakthrough is taking so long, then you need to hear what I'm about to tell you. Because God hasn't forgotten you, and the delay you've been living through isn't a denial, it's not a punishment, and it's certainly not proof that you're unworthy of the blessings you've been crying out for. There's a reason the wait has stretched longer than you ever imagined, and before this message is over, I believe something inside you is going to shift. Something is going to unlock, and you're going to see your season of waiting with completely different eyes. Let me start by saying this. I know the weight you've been carrying. I know what it feels like to watch the calendar pages turn and turn and turn, to celebrate another birthday, another new year, another anniversary of a prayer that still hasn't been answered, and to wonder if maybe you missed your moment, if maybe God's plan for you somehow got lost in all the noise of this world. I know the shame that creeps in when people stop asking you about that thing you've been believing for, because even they've grown tired of hearing you say still waiting, still trusting, still hoping, when deep down you're starting to wonder if hope is just another word for foolishness. But let me tell you something that might sound strange at first. Your wait has not been wasted. Every single day you've endured, every tear you've cried in secret, every moment you chose to keep believing when doubt was screaming louder than faith, it has all been building something inside you that could not have been built any other way. See, we live in a world that worships speed, that celebrates instant results, that makes you feel like you're falling behind if you're not constantly achieving, constantly progressing, constantly moving from one victory to the next without pause. But God doesn't operate on the world's timeline, and the things He's preparing you for require a kind of depth, a kind of character, a kind of unshakable foundation that can only be formed in the crucible of waiting. In the book of Habakkuk, there's this moment where the prophet is crying out to God, asking how long he has to keep praying for help that never seems to come, and God responds with something powerful. He says the vision is for an appointed time, that it speaks of the end and will not prove false. And though it linger, we should wait for it, because it will certainly come and will not delay. Now, I want you to really sit with that for a moment, because God is essentially saying that from His perspective, from the eternal viewpoint, there is no delay at all. What feels like forever to you is perfectly timed in the grand architecture of His plan. And the vision He has for your life is still unfolding exactly as it should, even when it feels like nothing is happening. But here's where it gets really personal. Here's where I need you to lean in and listen with your whole heart. The wait you've been in isn't just about the destination. It's about who you're becoming while you wait. Because the person you were when you first started praying for this thing, when you first started believing for this breakthrough, that person wasn't ready for what you've been asking for. I don't say that to hurt you or to make you feel inadequate. I say it because it's the truth that will actually set you free from the frustration and the bitterness that can so easily take root when we don't understand the purpose of our process. Think about Joseph. And I know you've probably heard his story 100 times, but I want you to think about it differently today. Joseph had a dream when he was 17 years old, a vision that showed his brothers bowing down to him, a promise that he would rise to a place of authority and honor. But between the dream and the fulfillment was a pit, a betrayal by his own family, slavery in a foreign land, false accusations, a prison cell, and years upon years of waiting with no evidence that God's promise would ever come to pass. 13 years. That's how long Joseph waited between the dream and the beginning of its fulfillment. And during those 13 years, he had every reason to grow bitter, every justification to curse God and give up, every opportunity to let the wait destroy him.
But instead, something remarkable happened in Joseph's character during those years that looked like wasted time. He learned integrity in Potiphar's house, even when no one was watching, even when doing the right thing cost him everything. He learned faithfulness in prison, serving others, interpreting dreams for fellow prisoners, using his gifts even when it seemed like they would never benefit him personally. He learned humility, patience, wisdom, and a dependence on God that he never would have developed if the dream had been fulfilled immediately. And when Pharaoh finally called him out of prison, when the moment of promotion came at last, Joseph wasn't just ready for the position, he was the perfect man for the job because the wait had transformed him into exactly who he needed to be. Here's what I need you to understand today. God isn't withholding from you, He's preparing you. Every delay is a divine setup. Every closed door is protecting you from something you're not ready for or something that's not ready for you. And every season of silence is actually God working behind the scenes in ways you can't see yet. The scripture tells us in Isaiah that God's ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts higher than our thoughts. And we quote that verse all the time, but do we really believe it? Do we really trust that when God makes us wait, it's because He sees something we don't, because He knows something we can't possibly know? Because He loves us enough to say not yet when we're demanding right now. I want to talk to the person who's been waiting for healing, who's been praying over a body that still hurts, a mind that still struggles, a condition that hasn't changed despite all the faith you've mustered and all the prayers you've prayed. Your healing may not come in the form you expected or on the timeline you demanded, but God is still the healer, and sometimes the healing happens in layers, in lessons, in the slow transformation of how you see yourself and how you trust Him even when your circumstances haven't changed. Paul asked God 3 times to remove his thorn in the flesh, whatever that physical affliction was, and God's answer wasn't yes. It was, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Sometimes the miracle isn't the removal of the struggle, it's the strength to endure it with grace, the peace that surpasses understanding in the middle of the storm, the testimony that comes from trusting God even when He doesn't answer the way you wanted Him to. I want to speak to the person who's been waiting for love, for a relationship, for marriage, for the companionship that seems to come so easily to everyone else but remains just out of reach for you. You've watched your friends get engaged, get married, start families, and with each wedding invitation, each pregnancy announcement, each happy couple you pass on the street, the question gets louder. What's wrong with me? Why not me? When is it going to be my turn? But what if God is protecting you right now from the wrong person, from a relationship that would have looked right on the surface but would have slowly drained the life out of you? What if He's using this season of singleness to heal wounds you didn't even know you had, to teach you how to be whole on your own, so that when the right person comes, you're not looking for them to complete you, but to complement the complete person you've already become? In the Song of Solomon, there's this refrain that repeats, "Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires." There's a divine timing to love, a season when it's right and everything aligns, and forcing it before that time, settling for less because you're tired of waiting, that's not God's best for you. Your wait is not a reflection of your worth. It's not evidence that you're unlovable or unwanted. It's simply proof that God values you enough to give you His best in His perfect timing, rather than letting you settle for what's available right now. And to the person who's been waiting for provision, for the financial breakthrough, for the doors to open in your career, for the business to take off, for the opportunity that seems to keep slipping through your fingers, I see you. I see the bills piling up. I see the dreams you've had to postpone. I see the humiliation of having to say no when you want so badly to say yes. I see the prayers you've prayed over your bank account, over job applications that go unanswered, over the seed you've sown that hasn't yet produced a harvest. But Jesus told a parable about a farmer who sows seed, and after he plants it, he goes about his life, sleeping and rising day after day, and the seed sprouts and grows though he doesn't know how. The earth produces the crop by itself, first the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. And when the grain is ripe, he puts the sickle to it because the harvest has come. Now I want you to really sit with that for a moment, because God is essentially saying that from his perspective, from the eternal viewpoint, there is no delay at all. What feels like forever to you is perfectly timed in the grand architecture of his plan, and the vision he has for your life is still unfolding exactly as it should, even when it feels like nothing is happening. But here's where it gets really personal. Here's where I need you to lean in and listen with your whole heart. The wait you've been in isn't just about the destination,